Well, hi everyone. I'm John Ritlin with my review of WWE, NXT, and enjoyable shows, bookended by big lads smashing each other. Wait, should I rephrase that? No, I don't think I'm going to rephrase that, because who doesn't enjoy watching people smash into each other? Because that's what wrestling really is, and sometimes you just need that to bookend your show. And I will say that I enjoyed Dynamite more this week than I did NXT, but that being said, NXT certainly put on a pretty damn good show with a few things that I didn't like, and I'll get into why here in a bit. But let me know what show you enjoyed in the comments, or if you enjoyed both equally. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you very much for that, and thank you for tuning in. Regals Announcement. So he trolled saying, oh, I'm going to be retiring, stepping down. Nope, it was obviously a big old troll job, as Keith Lee is relinquishing the North American Championship because he wants to give the roster the opportunities that he received. And that's fair. He's going to defend the NXT Championship as much as possible, even though he's probably going to lose it a lot sooner than some may think, at least based on the feud they're building. And Regal then announces that a series of three-way matches will take place. The winners of those matches will go on to be part of a five-way ladder match at TakeOver 30, which they have labeled as TakeOver XXX. That's the way they're going with it. That can't possibly turn into a bunch of dirty jokes. Also, it was nice that Keith Lee got emotional after his title win about, Killer Tim Brooks. It was very, very nice stuff. So, we started with Dexter Loomis versus Killian Dain. Now, I do admit that Killian Dain is talented. I like Dexter Loomis' character and think he is also talented. I've been given no fucking reason to be interested in Killian Dain's character. I mean, I'm sorry. I just don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. Anytime he is featured prominently for a little bit, he'll get a couple wins, and then he'll lose a feud, and then he'll disappear from TV for a while. It just doesn't add up. I don't know. It just doesn't give me a reason to invest in his character. That being said, it was some good stuff. I don't know why Dexter Loomis doesn't fucking blink. Blink, you incredibly talented but insane maniac. What the fuck? There was a kip up into a leg drop. That was very impressive. And Dain did hit some good moves, but he got hit, entrapped in the vice and eventually tapped out. Okay, well, passed out. But that made sense. Of course, he was supposed to, give up. And Dexter Loomis, gets a big win and will be part of a triple threat next week. We then get Strong, Reed, and Gargano hyping up the three ways they're going to have a little bit later. And then we get Dakota Kai with a video to Io saying, hey, when the taste returns to your mouth after I kicked it right out, bring the NXT Women's Championship. Okay, good stuff. And then we get Breezango dressed as the Mounties. I do admit I popped pretty big for the Mounties theme briefly being played, as I am, somebody that grew up loving the theme, hating the fucking character because the gimmick was pretty ridiculous. But they took on Everrise and beat him pretty easily. Super kick party for 3. That's about it. That's it right there. Aaliyah with Robert Stone versus Shotzi. Welcome to the ball pit, is what Shotzi says. Now, I briefly met Shotzi at an indie show. Very nice and very talented, and I'm happy for her success. Aaliyah, the perennial NXT lifer. Robert Stone, who is talented, and I hate this. The comedy doesn't work for me. They did comedy with the Tank. I don't fucking like it. It just doesn't work. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have some entertainment here, but NXT now, instead of standing out, yes, the work rate is there. It's almost like Raw and SmackDown. It just is. A lot of it just feels kind of stale, even though the matches, there were a few good matches on this show. Just to me, especially the tag team division, it feels freaking stagnant as hell. But the matches, Aaliyah, crashing and burning. It's almost like it was 19 years ago. And then Stone badly landed, selling his ankle, and then senton from Shotzi for 3. Then she runs over Stone's ankle again with the Tank. Oh no! And then Mercedes Martinez blinding her with a brutal fisting job. And then we find out what happens a little bit later. We get a Swerve video package, music influence, and wanting to face Escobar. Almost said Pablo Escobar. But this was a good video package. I met Swerve several times at indie shows, and really, really nice guy. Talented as fuck. Doesn't matter what crowd size he's in front of, he will give you his best. And this is good. More video packages like this to, give a little bit of insight. I like this. I like this more than what they did with Escobar's group last week, because it felt like they were trying to make a movie and it just felt cheesy. But it served its purpose. Gargano versus Reed versus Strong qualifying match for NXT TakeOver XXX. Man, that's going to become a goddamn meme. This was really good. Reed was a fucking star of this. Strong and Gargano did everything they could. Everything and then some to make Reed seem dominant. Like it took both of them to take down Reed for any amount of time. At one point, it looked like Strong was trying to get Reed over in a sunset flip, and then Gargano picked Reed up and gave Strong a face full of Reed's thickness. Have fun on seeing that. Or have fun seeing that. I don't kink shame. And then a Uranagi to Gargano, or Uranagi from Too Strong onto Gargano, just beating one motherfucker with another motherfucker. Get 2 ad breaks during this, a double Samoan drop at one point, a Poison Rana to Reed. Stop with the Poison Rana, stop them anywhere, just anywhere. Indie shows, New Japan, anywhere, just stop, please. Please stop. I'm not saying you shouldn't try to have new moves and be inventive, but the Poison Rana, there's just more risk than reward there with that. And then sunset flip to Reed outside powerbomb. Ouch. Ouch. That was incredibly loud. And then one final beat. It looked like Gargano was going to get the win. Then no, a big Reed splashy smashes Gargano's hand and pins Strong 1, 2, 3. That was a good match. Give Bronson Reed the North American Championship at NXT TakeOver XXX. Just do it. Just fucking do it. Might as well. They've been doing some good stuff with him. I think he would make a fine North American champion. I don't think he's going to win, but I'd like to see it. Timothy Thatcher versus Oney Lorcan. Great wrestling, great strikes, much like their TV match from before. I think it was Jeremy A911. Shout out to you for pointing out that it seems like he's learning, that Lorcan's learning how to counter some of Thatcher's offense, even though Thatcher's getting the victories to where Lorcan will eventually get a win, a big win, maybe in a fight pit, and I would like to see that. If they bring that, maybe not at TakeOver, but if they bring that sometime on TV, I actually think they really could pop a big rating there, because the Riddle Thatcher one was very good, and it would be at least a few months, so, if you do it 4 times a year with making it Thatcher's specialty, but Lorcan, could get that one, it would just make for a really, really nice, end to the feud. And if Thatcher actually got the victory, it wouldn't be the worst thing, because then maybe Lorcan and Birch could go to the main roster and spice up the tag team division there. There's a lot of ways they could play with this. Arm lock, and then Thatcher holds the tights and gets the win while Lorcan's got this, arm lock on him, which is really nice. And then we get Stone and Aaliyah, and Mercedes Martinez says, hey, I'll join your brand, but you do all this stuff outside the ring so I can focus inside the ring. She's going with a guy that has a proven track record of being a loser, but whatever. That's going to kind of torpedo Mercedes Martinez's, run unless they just make it to where this is just temporary and she may just goes out on her own eventually, because I don't see this benefiting her. It hasn't benefited Aaliyah except gaining her TV time, but I mean, who the fuck wants to see that? I'm sorry. Sorry if you like Aaliyah. I just don't. Baszler, we get a Finn Baszler video package. Baszler's package on display as we get Dexter, Loomis, and Thatcher being run down. As we get that match next week, your push just hit the ceiling because he's straight shooting. And then we get Kross versus Dijakovic. It's more big lads smashing into each other, and the big story here was Kross targeting the neck, and then he eventually kicked the steps into Dijakovic's head. Lee came down because Dijakovic would not quit. He simply would not quit, but he was just getting beaten down, and then Kross even said at one point, because he had his neck, he's like, are you watching? And he just does the sleeper, just does that, just keeps cranking on. That's it. The ref calls it. And then it's going to be Lee versus Kross at TakeOver XXX, obviously. But what happened here is it was great storytelling. Really made Kross seem like a fucking killer. If only they had kept that name instead. But it is what it is. This was a fun episode of NXT and actually did have some pretty good matches. There was some stuff in the middle I didn't really care for it. I'm sorry. I just don't care about Aaliyah and Robert Stone. I just don't. The comedy was fucking bullshit. That being said, the show worked overall for me. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.